All right, you guys, welcome back to Fields of Grace. I am showing you a little bit of my fall harvest. It is mid-October and we haven't had any hard frosts yet. Temperatures are just starting to kind of dip down into the high 30s overnight. So I have a lot in the field that's still blooming. This batch right here of Linaria and Celosia is in my high tunnel actually. I haven't grown Linaria before. This is my first time doing it. I'm playing with it this fall, seeing how I like it in bouquets, and hopefully be able to add it to bouquets and wedding florals next year. And then we've got some gorgeous, gorgeous, bright magenta Celosia. It's like sea coral fan Celosia here. And then these are the first of the Queen Lime zinnias. I am doing a batch in the tunnel for fall. Got snapdragons are still going crazy beautiful. Started a whole batch of these in the tunnel and in the field too. The field ones are done, but my high tunnel ones are still pumping out blooms, which is incredible. I've got a variety of zinnias in here. Some more Celosia. My dahlias, guys, I mean, it's Iowa in mid-October, and so I'm surprised that my dahlias are still pumping out blooms. Nice variety that I picked this morning. These aren't like the stellar or super cool ones, although I do got some beauties in here. But I'm happy that they're still pushing out the blooms. Heirloom chrysanthemums being our first year officially at the flower farm, I wasn't sure if I wanted to invest in them or not, and I had planted about a dozen of them early in the spring, and I'm very, very pleased. They are pumping out all sorts of long usable flower stems for me, variety of different colors, a lot of fun to add into my fall bouquets. Of course, you got your true blue bachelor buttons, basket flower. I got a couple left. The bees are really loving these. I call them the drunk flower because the bees literally will just get drunk in them. Sorry, a little hard to see in the shadow there. That's a basket flower. These are super fun, and I'm going to plant a whole lot of these next year. People in my flower bouquet making classes have really loved those. And of course, we got more dahlias and the zinnias. And basically, right now, mid-October, I have a batch of zinnias up here and a batch of zinnias up there. These are the early field rows. You can see we're already starting to clear them out. Pretty much we have marigolds. The cosmos are just kind of done. They're kind of scattered around. They really held nicely. They were a great flower for me August through September, and now they're kind of winding down, but we had a ton of beautiful cosmos. Let's take a look back here. Of course, the rudbeckia is everywhere. I think one of the most fun and entertaining things about flower farming for me this year was watching things just pop up randomly in places they were nowhere near where they were planted. The bugs and the birds carried seeds and stuff everywhere, and so it's been kind of funny. And you can see that the rudbeckia is like everywhere it's not supposed to be. But we have Nicotania kind of growing. The bachelor buttons were in this row. Some of them are still doing really nice. Again, there's the basket flowers. Most of them are done. Oh, the bees maybe aren't in them. Oh, there's a bee in that one. We do have asters. You know, the asters were a disappointment for me this year. This whole row was actually supposed to be mostly asters, and nothing was coming up. And so by like mid-July, when I was kind of doing my succession planting for fall, I was like, to heck with it, we're gonna just redo stuff in here. And so here's the asters. They're super short. And so I left the ones that are growing, but next year I'm going to have to do a different approach with asters because it did not. That was probably one of my fails this year, and it's crazy because everything else really has bloomed pretty well for me. Taking a little look down here, you can see we had all the cosmos. I definitely have to corral. If you haven't done cosmos, this batch over here especially, like they just fall over. They're very big, so I need to corral them next year. But check this out. These are my chrysanthemums. These were like teeny tiny. I mean, the tiniest of little plants when I planted them this spring, and now they are big and they're beautiful and they're blooming. Some of them haven't even started. The ones in the back haven't really started to open up yet. So I probably am going to, when these die back later this fall, I'm going to actually spread them out a little bit so they have more room to grow next year. I kind of packed them in because how windy it gets out here. And so when they were so little, I was like, they needed that protection. But now I have to kind of like spread them out a little bit more so they have more room to grow. But they are beautiful. I mean, the colors, this is like a golden apricot-y color. We've got some cream. I think, is this the matchsticks one? This might be the matchsticks. Beautiful blush pink. These ones right here have been doing incredible. I've been throwing them in all sorts of bouquets. Again, these are the ones that are still haven't opened up yet. So this is really nice. I was really, really happy. This is a great choice for me to make for my first year flower farming. To go ahead and start chrysanthemums, because these have been a great addition for this time of year. So you'll see me talk about it in some other videos, how due to weather getting started this year, like months of horrible weather and a lot of rain and then time constraints, like we ended up having to let a good section of the flower rows kind of go a little wild. And there were several rows of zinnias out here, and you can kind of still see them kind of poking up through all the wildness. They're actually still pumping out a few blooms. I actually cut a few this morning, but this next year is going to be looking so different. These are the dahlias, and again for mid-October they're still pumping out some blooms, which is surprising. I had a lot of late dahlias this year. We had a ton of rain earlier in the year. I got them all in on time, very end of May and the beginning of June. Done a pretty good job of taking care of them for the most part. Next year I'm definitely going to do a stake like in the middle of like every 2 or 3 to corral them, like hold them up better. We couldn't afford to do stake all of them. We tried corralling some of them in areas and it still didn't work very well. So definitely going to improve how we do dahlias next year. And you can see the 2 empty spots. There's an empty spot back there too. Those where dahlias didn't actually grow. Otherwise, I had a pretty good overall, I think, turnout and growth for the dahlias. I started with, I think, about 350 tubers, and I'd say probably about 250 of them grew. It's kind of hard to tell in here. So, I mean, give or take, it's not bad, you guys. Like the weather this year, way too wet in the spring. And then we haven't had rain in the last 6 weeks. So we went from oodles of rain to no rain, and I've had to come out and water. Speaking of water, you can't see it, but like way up there is our water spigot. We just got added a couple weeks ago, so now I have access to water out here. You guys, I had been watering by milk jugs literally all year long. Well, actually, I got blessed because my field rose, God rained on them for me till like mid-August, so I didn't actually have to come out and water until mid-August. Any of the field rose is amazing. But next year we are going to do drip line down into these, and they're going to be tarped rows, and so the dahlias are going to do a lot better. But it's exciting. I've had so much fun with the dahlias. They're beautiful flowers. Very, very excited to watch this section of our flower farm continue to grow. This here, we had some of our sunflowers, and then we did the rest of the sunflowers over in here. They were so-so. I was more concerned about taking care of like my dahlias as far as bugs, and keeping them good and healthy. The kind of sunflowers was kind of hit or miss. It was really just when I would get out here and see that they were looking nice, I would cut them. Otherwise, it was just pretty to look at in the background, I guess. So sunflowers, we have to tweak some stuff next year again, but it's like not one of my high priorities at all. This is one of our zinnia patches. Let me see if it's still here. It is. Fun story about this section right here. This was a fail section. We had done probably like 2,000 poppy seeds in this square section here. Not a single one of them grew, guys. Like not a single one of them even came up. So by like the end of June, I was like, whatever, we are going to do zinnias in here instead. So we did. Look, one lone poppy has come up and bloomed in the middle of October. It is craziness. That is wild. But so I've come through, I've done 2 good zinnia cuttings. I did one this morning and one earlier just a few days ago. So these are looking a little bare. And again, fall is setting in, but I have continued to come through and deadhead, and there are still a ton of buds all over in my zinnia patches. I've taken good care of them, kept them watered. And these have continued to pump out flowers for me even this far into the season, which is just wonderful. And this patch right here has been left to be. A lot of it's gone to seed. I've saved a ton of seeds. Guys, these are the floret zinnias. I know, I was so excited to have gotten my hands on probably 15 of her seed packets for the zinnias and celosia and the dahlias. And so this patch right here is all floret zinnias. And let me try to zoom in just a little bit. I mean, they're going to seed. I have collected so many seeds already from this patch. I probably have close to 1,000 seeds for next year, and I have a whole nother like batch to go through. If I wanted to, I could come back out and grab more. These were some of the most incredible flowers. My favorite flower colors are pastels, that beautiful peachy orangey hue. So this was an incredible experience for me as someone who's been growing flowers for like 20 years to have grown these flowers for my first year of flower farming. There's a nice one. I should have cut that one. And the bees are still buzzing around. We're next to a highway. The semis get really loud out here. But this was the floret celosias. You can see some of the vibrant colors. I let this kind of stop. I stopped cutting it probably like beginning of September. I collected a lot of it from here and I've been seed saving like crazy. And I have a ton of celosia seeds to use next year. And you can see right here, like I need to come back in a second and cut this. Can you see in there? Look at all that black, that's seeds. And save these seeds. Oh my goodness, yes. There's tons of them. I'm gonna come back out here in a few minutes and save some of these seeds. This section we just let go wild. We couldn't keep up with the weeds. And at the beginning of the year, being the first year, we had put up the tunnel. We had tilled all of the rows. Guys, none of it was here. It was an open field. And we started getting tarp, and then things just kind of between kids and full-time work and catering business and stuff, we could only do so much at the beginning of the year. And this was the first most priority, is getting the tunnel up. I'll do another video on the tunnel, but this section we just kind of let go wild. The far row had herbs and like agastache and basils and mints and all kind of stuff over there. And then that you can kind of see there's some orange popping up. We did a row of marigolds. I think there's still straw flower over here. We called this section for our open new picks the go on a treasure hunt, because there's still some stuff kind of blooming in here. The gomphrena, by the way, I was extremely disappointed in. It grew, I just never used it. I wasn't impressed with it. We had a row of straw flowers. They're still kind of growing and blooming a little bit. I kind of had played with these some, and I kind of like it. You can hear that papery crunch. We had quite a bit of that growing, and the marigolds. You can see a bunch of lemon balm back there. Like, one of the other things that like never seemed to grow was the agaritum, right? I think that's what this one is. And then it finally just popped up like at the end of August. So it's been interesting to see what grew really well and what didn't. This was the echinacea row. I had tons of seeds plus 3 plants. None of it grew. Like none of it. So again, we're gonna have to try some different things next year, but due to how big our flower field is and just kind of starting all of it at once, it was kind of a go all in or nothing sort of deal. But we're gonna make this row lavender and these 2 rows pumpkins next year, to kind of extend. The pumpkins will be kind of an extension for the fall season, to help encourage people to come out for the open new picks in September and October, and also to do like pumpkin bouquet class. Be kind of fun. We're not going to go all the way back, but then the lavender here also fresh and for dried bundles. So we're definitely, when I went into this, was thinking how early in the season can I start? How late into the season can I keep things growing? There, right there is a snapdragon. It was supposed to be over there and somehow ended up over here, but she has been putting out quite a few pretty blooms, and so I left her. Got some white lavender right here. This is a cool one. I have a couple of rows where I just grew some cool stuff for fun. You can see this is ornamental cabbages. This one is black pearl pepper, which is really fun because it actually makes these little pearls for its seeds, for its seed pods. So that's kind of a fun thing. that I added as part of our like you picks and garden tours, like just having some things that people can see that they don't normally see or wouldn't even think of to include in a garden. And this other smaller row is another one of the, we don't pick it at you picks, it's more to look at and see. And again, like we have some black sprites in part just now opening up and blooming, which is so silly. But it is. And we did pumpkin on a stick, which is super fun for the little kids. They think that that is really cool. I'm definitely going to grow a lot more of those next year. That was a lot of fun. Ooh, seed pods. I love it when you walk through and you're like, I need to come back and grab these. I think those are seed pods. Yeah, they are. This one is Blazing Star. It was purple. You guys, my U-Pick fan, clients, customers, visitors absolutely loved this. It was bright violet purple. And I saved a ton of seeds from it. And I'm going to do a lot more of it next year because they really enjoyed it. And this is another thing that I don't get it, guys. I've been growing things for so long, and here we are at the end of the season. This one is Job's Tears, and I have tried several different like successions of these, and is just now finally growing. But once they do grow, they have these like little stone gems that people can actually use for making jewelry. So this was one of those cool things for people to look at, but it didn't really grow until just now. And of course we got our Eryngiums, which I never really used in Echinops. I never like really used these in flower bouquets, but maybe I'll play around with that little buzzy next year. And this right here is a patch of kind of last minute succession celosia planting. I did these in like the middle of August. And these have been a nice little addition. What I do for succession planting is when the first round of something is done, if I don't want to grow more of it, I find something else to grow in that place, because I don't ever really want to have super empty spots in my rows. So I really worked hard this year to keep my eye on that and to stay on top of that, because these first few rows were all of like our early cool season flowers. So of course by midsummer they were done and we were clearing stuff out. And so I threw these in, and it was nice to be able to use these in bouquets here the last several weeks. So that is all of our video today. I'm hoping to kind of record several more videos for you all. I'll do another one here on the high tunnel. Probably a couple on the high tunnel, like how we built it and what we've done with it and what we've learned, and then what I've got growing in there. I was really hopeful at the beginning of this season to be able to do a video for y'all like every week, and it just didn't happen. But now that we've kind of got things figured out a little bit, and we're making some big improvements for next year to like free up more time from watering and weeding, then I'll be able to share a lot more videos with you guys. And I'm going to put together some hopefully for you here over the next couple of weeks, spread them out through winter so y'all can keep joining us on our flower farming journey.